Friday. What's up, everybody? Friday morning. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a phenomenal week as we are wrapping up the week in style, getting ready to talk about our major markets as well as our stock of the day. And a big one, stock of the day. Make sure that you hang around till the end to hear what we talk about with Coinbase, interestingly enough. So let's go ahead and get started with the S&P. So in the ES this morning, we are up about 5 points. You know, we're a brand new all-time high. Hip, hip, hooray. Brand new all-time high in the markets. Yay! Everybody throws a party, which we should, right? There's no reason not to. We're at an all-time high in the markets. Allow that thing to continue to ride higher until it stops. We had a little breakout level here yesterday. Got a nice little run off the breakout, and so I'm going to remove that line. And then we have a decent reversal area down here at this little wick over wick, and I've got an alert set up if price comes back into that region. As far as what was created in the overnights, when I take a look at the overnight markets and we come down here to the 15-minute chart, you know, in looking at this, my eyes always go right towards that London Open. My problem with that is that it's kind of a move off of this slough, right? There just wasn't a whole lot of oomph to that move. And so I think we may get a reversal trade somewhere down here, but I'd like to see some sort of a reversal candlestick pattern in here. I don't have a clean level. This level right here on a 15-minute chart is fairly clean at 41.59 by 41.57 if we get a bit of a retest into there, but it's not the greatest of levels. And so I'm going to leave it on there, but I'm going to make it a confirmation entry. And it's not the greatest of levels for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is we haven't gotten a huge move away from there as of yet. Reason number two is that if I look at this wick right here, this was already touched on the move away. And so, yeah, I think it's still valid, but I'm going to be a bit more cautious with it. In the Nasdaq, we are actually sitting right below a really nice breakout level. The Nasdaq is actually a bit cleaner than the S&P for some reversal trades. And for the Nasdaq, I would look right down in here to this level where we have this rally base, very nice move away. And then a bit of basing here gives us an opportunity for a breakout. And certainly knowing that in the Nasdaq, we are now back to a new all-time high. Yay! All right, let's look at our crude oil. So in crude oil, we had a huge run up off of this retest level. So hopefully some of you are able to catch that zone. Unfortunately, no basing at our potential breakout point, but continuing to rally a bit higher, and so I've got to remove some of these other levels, which were pretty effective. That other 15-minute level that I just took off of there wound up being a pretty nice, strong move away. And so we're maintaining our overall general bullish stance. Certainly, we saw that the contract has rolled in crude oil, and we are now coming up against an area of supply. So I guess the question would be, do I believe that area of supply was there on the M contract? So if I go and look at the M contract specifically, what we'll see, let me remove this line here. What we'll see on the M contract specifically is that the level that we're coming up against, we're basing right in front of. So if I just look at the CL itself, it doesn't appear that we're basing quite as in front of the level, but we are. And so with that basing in front of the level, it becomes the kiss of death. And so any kiss of death is not something that I'm going to be wanting to trade. And really, you guys shouldn't want to trade anything that I title kiss of death, right? I mean, that's just awful. It's a terrible idea, horrible idea. Why would anybody want to do that? And so right here at yesterday's big move up, I'm going to put a little reversal opportunity in case price does come back down into that level. But ultimately, what I'd really like to see is a bit of a breakout setup, which I don't have as of yet. Gold also. We talked about gold the other day on a bigger picture scale on the weekly chart, the fact that with all this gold consolidation, if you look historically, when gold consolidates for a few weeks in a row, you tend to get a decent move out of there, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So every supply level above me is suspect on gold's rally higher. So we did get a little move off of this supply area, but the demand areas are going to be really your better entries. And here's a really nice wick over wick right here that was formed in the overnight that I think is a really strong entry if price does give us a bit of a retest. So those are our four major markets that I think are the setups and what we're looking for heading into the rest of the day. As always, if you have any questions, make sure you let me know. But before we go, we're going to talk about our stock of the day. So our stock of the day today is the brand new stock that everybody's talking about, Coinbase. And I've probably gotten, 8 or 10 people who are not traders in the last 2 days talk to me and say, hey, what about this Coinbase thing? Should I invest in it? What about this Coinbase thing? Should I invest in it? And let's look at the first 2 days of price movement. We opened here, opened right there at about 381, rallied up to 429, got all the way down to 310, and then closed the day up at 327. The next day, we gapped up, and we opened at 348 and traded lower throughout the day. We traded up to the high of the day. If I look at this on a 15-minute chart, you will see that really, aside from our first 30 minutes, the professionals have been selling the snot out of this. Now, why would the professionals be selling it? Well, because all of the retail traders want to buy it, right? Now, by the way, I'm not saying that I'm bearish on Coinbase and that I think the digital currencies are a fluff. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the IPO, and they didn't do a traditional IPO, but still the initial trading of this stock, it's following very similar to a stock that I remember very clearly when it came out. And I'm going to go back to Facebook. When I go back to Facebook, I'm going to go back to Facebook's actual IPO. Now, unfortunately, I can't pull an intraday chart of their actual IPO, but I can pull a daily chart of their actual IPO. And when Facebook IPO'd, everybody should take note of the fact, on the first day, we started at $42. We rallied up to 45, almost to the penny, and then it sold off. The next day, unlike Coinbase did gap up, the next day gapped down, sold off. The next day, sold off. Went sideways, sold off, sold off, sold off. The stock went from a $42 share price all the way down to $17. And it IPO'd in May and sold off all summer before that fall really starting to garner some attention. And now certainly we know the story of Facebook, right? It's gone from $17 to $300 and something dollars, and still a great stock that is one of the bellwethers of our market today. Do I think Coinbase is going to do that? I don't know. They might. Do I think they're going to be cut in half? Facebook was cut in half, was more than cut in half, actually. And so when I look at Coinbase, is it unrealistic for this thing to drop down to 220, 210? No, not unrealistic at all. Matter of fact, I think that's a strong possibility. However, I'm still not going to trade it. And I don't feel like there's a lot of opportunity to trade some of these things until they've shown me that there is a fair price value area that I can identify for high probabilities. So while I normally talk about a stock or a trade idea, today I'm giving you just an idea in general about IPOs and about new stocks. Allow them to create areas of demand and supply. We don't know enough about the fundamentals that are causing the professionals to buy and sell, the ones that have enough money to actually move the stock. And so I don't want to try to time where it's going to go until I have a little bit of historical movement that I can lean on. Right? Now, from an intraday basis, you might argue, okay, well, I've got a breakout trade here, and now we're rallying back up to an area of supply, and I think that this thing could continue to go down. And if not, then I've got a little wick over wick area here. There are some areas of supply and demand, no question. But they're all unproven, untested, and unreliable. And so I'm a big believer in be safe. If you want to invest in it because you think it's a good investment fundamentally, then just buy the stock and hold on to it. I don't necessarily agree with that as a way to go, and certainly that's not advice. That my point is that if you are getting into this, just realize the risk that you take and the exposure that you take is greater than it is typically on a stock that you understand more about its fundamentals and about its technicals, and you've got some price history. So that's all I have for today, everybody. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We have our live trade room on Sunday night. I invite you to join us. If you're not a member of Traders Army, go to tradersarmy.com. Join us today. Use the promo code TRADER60. Get 60% off your first month, and it's going to be an amazing time. So Sunday night, come join us in the live trade room. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually alive and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.